home office too. I see live.
All right.
I'm looking at it.
So we're saying we're live with
We're
Genise
live.
Brown of Title Partners. Thank you for Genise for joining us here today. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
I know we had some trouble connecting this morning. What's the odds with the internet, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
This is the world we live in with COVID, right? Always got some
You,
technical troubles and no on-duty staff person to help.
you got it.
Excellent. Well, I wanted to have you on today. You were fine where you were because the sunlight's behind your head now.
Okay, I do. All right. Okay, go ahead. I'm getting ready to go back to the other.
Okay, all right, good. So I wanted to have you join us here today because you and I have known each other for a very long time.
Yes.
A very long time. I don't even know how many years ago you think we met. You're probably better at that than me.
I would say we're nearing 20 at least.
Yeah, I've been in the business 20 years. So I was a couple years beforehand. So probably 17 years, 16 years, I'm guessing, somewhere in that wheelhouse there.
Yes.
So we're coming on a long time of knowing each other. And when we met, I had just come to work for Coldwell Banker at that time. And I was witness to your customer service, working with other real estate agents in the office, and just blown away at the difference in working with you as a title representative versus other companies that I had worked with before. Like, it was a remarkable difference. And it wasn't that you were having different documents signed. It wasn't that you were doing a different job. It's just the level of service in your presentation of service was beyond anything that I, had ever experienced. And so when I think of you, I think of excellent customer service. And so I thought the value that you could bring to this call is just sort of talking to people about, where did you learn that skill? And then we can evolve from there. But let's start with first, where did you learn that skill?
First and foremost, Michelle, thank you so much. And you put me high on this little hill and I might tumble down. But Michelle, for me, customer service is one of my, I live by it.
Yes.
I try to teach it. I love it. Customer service to me, for every client that I deal or that we close for every transaction, it is my responsibility to deliver stellar customer service on every transaction. As you said before, we're living in a very changing world with technology. But Michelle, we must stay engaged. And by that, I mean, every now and again, pick up the phone. Say hello. It doesn't always have to be about, the transaction. I'm just calling to see if you need my assistance. That's very important. Also, it's very important that each client thinks that you're my only client. I want you to feel special every time. Professionalism. I can't teach personalities. I can teach a skill set, but I am hoping that if you're in real estate or in title, that you are an extrovert, that you are a people person. So it comes naturally for us.
Yeah.
But we must pay attention to detail. We can't lose that human side. It's so important.
Well, I think that's, and it's not just, you pay attention to the human side. And your customers are real estate agents and the client. Those are both of your customers. Your customers are the realtors and the buyers and the sellers. Those are your customers.
Exactly.
And when you're saying paying attention to the human side of it and not just transactional, what does that look like? Break it down to the most basic, mama teaching the little baby how to do it. What does that look like when you break it down?
First and foremost, when you're in a transaction, a real estate transaction, this is probably one of the most expensive purchases that anyone will make. It's important. It doesn't matter if it's a $5,000 transaction or a 5 million. You must give the same level of customer service every time. If I walked in the room, Michelle, and I always ask, please brief me before I go in. I deal with a lot of trust. I deal with a lot of deaf situations. So you have to be sensitive to your audience. You have to be sensitive to that. You can't go in when you know that, per se, someone just lost their husband, coming in the closing,
Right.
cracking jokes. You got to be a little sensitive. I understand. You know what I mean? And you might want to take a little bit more time with a first time buyer. This is routine for us. We know how this go. But for someone who's new and who's never, had a closing transaction, you have to take time and you have to be sensitive to that.
That's perfect information, because many title companies do not do that, or title reps do not do that.
Uh-huh.
They walk in with their own attitude, their own mindset, their own system, their own plan for just moving through the paperwork and getting it done. And I guess I never really thought about it before, but you do say that to me a lot. Okay, give me the briefing. What's going on? Like,
I do it all, and that's why.
right when you come into the closing, before you even walk in that closing room, you're asking the agent, what's the vibe? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And what am I walking into?
Exactly.
And that's how you're getting to know what do they need, and then how to serve.
Exactly. And I do a lot of teaching, you know that, and I do a lot of training. And I know, and Michelle, I say this to you all the time, technology and all that, guys, we need it. You will not survive if you are not into it. I've been around a long time, guys, and I tell folks a lot of time, this year, by the grace of God, it'll be 42 years in the business. Things have changed. People, everything is behind a text message, an email address. Pick up the phone. Clients, be it your buyer, seller, or agents. Michelle, I will text you or your team. Can I assist you with anything? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Just let them know that you're there.
You do. You do.
It's really, really important, and I think it's a dying breed because of technology. But I do believe that I have been successful for so long because I do treat each client like they're my only client, and whatever they need at that time, that's what we do. There will be times, Michelle, in this industry, that you're going to have bad news.
Mm,
Bad news late is the worst thing ever. Communicate in the very beginning and then we can work through it.
mm,
But and like me, I hate delivering bad news. Unfortunately, in this time, I have to deliver bad news, or challenging news a little often. But
yeah.
it's so important to me. I tell my team, I need to know right away to pull them in.
Bad
So,
news late. Oh my gosh. You're right. Everything is about managing expectations and getting in front of it.
exactly. And the sooner that you do it, the better.
Right. Right. It sort of goes along with, I've got, people that in my office that may have to deliver bad news, and
Sure.
seen it so many times. My husband has even done it, where they're
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I got to call that person. Oh, I got to give them, deliver bad news. And then you drag it out all day.
Yes, because you don't want to do it.
Don't
And
want
it's
to do it.
interesting, Michelle, it's so funny. In my office, bad news, guess who they call?
They call you.
They call me. But it's good. And it's because I do believe that I take the time and I see, what the problem is, and you explain it. This real estate and title work, the majority of people don't even know what title is. I didn't when I first started out. So it's difficult and understanding and working through it, but I will make a specific call. Doesn't matter how early or how late, just to get the transaction done. But even when you're doing it, Michelle, even if you're over the phone or if you're talking, smile, smile. This is a good thing. People feel that through the phone. They
Yeah.
feel that, sometimes I'm sure you spoke to someone and might hang up the phone. You'll say, wow, she was having a bad day. You can hear
Yeah.
it through the phone. So
Yes.
that's really, really important.
I will say you are the master at centering yourself, and taking pause to get into their shoes and put on that show and give that smile. I have known you for a lot of years, and your life has not been easy.
It is not.
Um, it's
Woo!
not been easy. I mean, you were in the beginning before I knew you. There was a
Yeah.
time when you were a single parent for a while.
Yes.
There was a time where your husband was very sick. There was
Yes.
a time where your husband passed. There was
Yes.
a time, you had some financial struggles along the way in
Yes.
between. Uh,
Yes.
I've known you personally, and I think what is the most impressive thing is you are able to squash your own drama and
That's right.
still put people first.
Exactly. It is my
It's not,
job, Michelle.
it's a
From
talent.
you guys say it's a talent. I just, you know what, Michelle, when you love what you do, it doesn't even seem like work. So it doesn't even seem like a talent to me. I think I don't, I do believe certain things can be taught, but a lot of things have to come natural. If you are just kind, oh, and this is what when I'm teaching and training, I'll tell folks, imagine if it was your mother or your father or your grandpa and they were in a transaction. I would want someone to take time to take time with them to explain. It's so important and see what their needs are. A lot of closers, and I'm not bashing closers, I do train closers.
Mhm.
They will be so involved in the mechanics that they
Yes.
forget that you're talking about a person. Yeah, we got to get it down. So you have to be able to manage everything. Definitely be professional to make sure all of the facts are there, but you still have to understand you're not talking to a robot. You're not talking to a computer. This is a person in front of you. It's so important. And believe me, clients do notice the difference when you're just getting in or you're rushing or you're trying to get out. Take your time.
And I mean, when people say take your time,
Hmm.
you're a very busy woman.
Oh my God.
You are a very busy woman with a calendar that involves you being in the car a lot.
Yes.
So when you're saying take time, really, you're only talking about a few minutes of a pause to like step back and explain. You're not saying
Yes.
it needs to be this big chunk of your day to really like,
No. No.
we don't have time for
There'll
big.
be certain days, Michelle, at the end of the month that I might have 6, 7, 8 closings.
Mhm.
So and some of this has come with time. Again, I've been in the business 42 years.
Right.
I can get all the information done
Mhm.
quickly without being rushed.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I tell everyone it's so important. Don't forget that you're dealing with actual people who have lives. Some people have just lost their loved ones or whatever, and it's hard. People come to the table. Michelle, how many times do I say, could I get a box of Kleenex? Because I know this is going to be a little challenging, and it's okay. Guess what Genise does? She takes time.
Mhm.
She makes sure her makeup is not running. I'm talking about the client. Give
Yeah.
them a hug, and we can do this. There are no endings, there are new beginnings. But these are things that come with time. But always remember, guys, as busy as we are, and God knows we're busy, I do spend the majority of my time in the car. But
Yeah.
you still have to take time to reach out to see, is there anything that I can help you with? And anyone that knows me knows I do answer my phone. You
Yeah. You
got to answer your phone. You
do.
got to pick it up. Sometimes you can text, but every now and again, pick up your phone. We still can't get away from that. And a lot of people have. They're into pushing paper. The faster, the more that you do. I'm into repeat clients because this is how I think. The nephew who I am closing a deal for a $40,000 loan. I
Okay.
give him the same amount of customer service because guess what? His aunt had a home on Grosse Ile for 1.5 million. Guess
Mhm.
who they remembered? Genise Brown.
Denise. That's right.
That's who they remembered.
Mhm.
And again, in my position, Michelle, you, your team, you guys are great, excellent. You can do everything 100% correct and get to the table. And if you have an uncomfortable or a challenging closing, guess what they're going to remember?
Right.
They're going to
Yep.
remember that closing. And
That's
they're
right.
not going to say it was a title company. They don't know about title. They're going to be looking at Michelle.
Correct. That's right.
So
That's
it's
right.
it's it's so important for me to make you and whomever my agents are look good. That's my job. If
Yeah.
clients are screaming and hollering, what do I say all the time? I need you out selling real estate. Let them call me, scream and holler at me. I
You
will
do.
make sure that they're fine.
You do. That is one of the things that you have been so good at protecting the
Yes.
agents that you serve. Um,
Yes.
like, because you're right. The average buyers and sellers, they don't understand all the twists and turns that can
Nothing.
happen in insuring a property. And you're
Right.
right. They blame the agent for everything, even if it's something that didn't
Not your fault.
quoted from before they owned it, or you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's still the agent's fault.
Exactly.
It was
Exactly.
might be something totally out of our hands, but you have been so good at stepping in front. And a lot of title companies or closers would just say, you know what, the agent can explain it, the agent can deal with it, I'll see you at the table. But
Yeah.
you have been the one to say, give that to me, I'll handle that conversation.
Exactly. And Michelle, you know what I live by. No worries.
No
No
worries.
worries.
No worries.
Because I look at it like
No
this,
worries.
Michelle, and you,
I got you. No worries. I got
or I got you.
you. I
But
got
Michelle, you do recall, and you did say previously that I've been through a lot.
you.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I've
Yes.
been through a lot through my personal life, but guess what? Life's not over. That was just a little season, and I got through it. And a lot of folks will say, Janice, we didn't even know because
Yeah.
I concentrated on the work. We're going to deal with my stuff later, but I got to make sure that my clients are serviced at all times.
Yeah.
And that's, and I take it, Michelle, again, you
Mhm.
got to love what you do. I
Right.
love what I do. I literally love what I do. So I don't even look at it as a job. I look at it as serving people, serving our community. That's what's important.
I know you're a woman of faith also. And
Yes, ma'am.
and and I've heard this talking to so many people. I don't care what faith they're in. There's
Hmm.
what's your breed of religion. It doesn't, whatever.
Right.
It doesn't
Just
matter.
believe in something.
But there is the word service can be,
Yes.
in so many different categories of life. It could be in the title business. It could be in the mechanic business. It could
Right.
be what makes your heart sing and know that you're doing right by people.
You know what? When I
You know?
see a first time buyer
Mm-hmm.
that comes in and they're so nervous and yada, 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 I don't have a clue of what I'm doing, I get excited. I
Yeah.
get excited. I get excited when a single mom has no way of, or the means to purchase a home and she's nervous and oh my God, will I be able to complete it? I get excited. I get excited because what you're doing is you're changing a person's life. You're literally changing a person's life. I would never compare real estate to a doctor, but
Right.
think about it. A transaction, Michelle, can change a person's life. They
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
for the better. So I always feel that, you know, um, my faith or whatever has gotten me to this point, and I try to see the good in everybody. Sometimes I go in a closing and I'll say, oh boy, he's having a bad morning. But guess what? And a lot of times you will say, oh, this is going to be a rough one. By the end of the day, Michelle, I promise you, he'll want to take me home.
I
I
have
always say,
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying this as an endorsement, but I have seen you flip clients at the table. I have seen you flip their attitudes at the table. Like, people come in, um, aggravated, annoyed. They spent the
yes,
whole night before this is one we did. They were moving out the night
Yep.
before. They said they were going to give keys at closing. And they showed up with like 3 hours of sleep. And remember the woman, she started crying at the
Oh, yes. Very
because
well.
so stressed out,
Yes.
so stressed. And at the end of it, you guys were like shaking hands and,
Good
words of
friends.
appreciation and love being sent. And you had the client apologizing to you for coming in.
But Michelle, I do feel that I try to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
I've been in those tough shoes, and I would want someone to be kind and patient with me. And Michelle, I tell you this.
Even if you're being nasty.
Oh, please. You know what my attitude is? They don't know me from Adam's cat. So I know it's nothing personal against me.
Right.
It's something that happened before they got there. So if you don't take things, and I say as agents, title reps, closers, if you take things personal, you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business because you're going to get your feelings hurt. Sometimes it might happen every day, but guess what? Don't take it personal. I always use it as a learning tool, and a lot of times things you don't have any control over. You just don't have control over. So you do your best. Now, it's very, very important, Michelle, and I'm a big pet peeve on professionalism. The way you present, the way you look.
Keep talking.
You know how I am, Michelle.
I know you are. But
yes, but that's not for everybody. That's not for everybody. That's just one attribute of me and one thing that I enjoy. But you must be professional. You must speak fluently. Tell the truth. Michelle, I've been in the business 42 years. I learn something every day. And what I say, I never say, I always say, give me a moment. I'll give you some research. No worries. And I'll get right back with you. But I never forget to get back with them. If I always under promise and over deliver.
That's
So
right.
you'll look like a hero. Always, never over promise. If I tell you you're going to get something in 3 days and I get it to you in 2, guess what? I look like a hero. Never over promise, under promise, but work as hard as you can to over deliver.
That's right. That's right. And that professional conversation, I think it's also showing respect for the other people in how you present yourself.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
It's showing respect for them and
It
what
is.
they would want.
Right. And Michelle, whenever you're in front of a client or I'm in front of a client, if you're confident in what you do, people will listen. If you feel like you're not really sure, I would have kind of doubts too. Study your subject. Study the material. It will pay off. I tell everyone, if you're in this business just to make a lot of money, I don't know if you're going to last. If you go in and if you put the hours in, the money's going to come. The money is going to come. Concentrate on your skill set, on sharpening your tools. That's what works for me.
This is why, like, you and I get on so well together. Like, we get along so well together, is because I literally just hosted a conversation last week. I did a Zoom training with like 80 agents last week, and we talked a lot about the same topics. About study your craft. Customer service, picking up the phone and talking to people. Yes, we live in a technology-driven society, but the human connection is the most important thing. Like, you're doing it on your side of the business. I'm doing it on my side of the business. And it's so good. This conversation is so good to get other perspectives, to let the world know this is how you build a successful business. You are probably, and tell me if I'm wrong, one of the top title representatives in the state, period.
Right? Okay, Michelle, you always put me on this heel and I might tumble down. But if you do the numbers, I think I'm kind of up there. I'll put it like this, Michelle. 2020 was one of the best years of my career. I can say that. And I'm blessed because for a lot of people, we're living in a horrible, it's bad with this pandemic. It was one of the best years of my career. And my goal for 2021 is rinse and repeat. Do the same thing.
That's
Keep
right.
smiling.
That's right. That's right. But you know, that doesn't come. The reason that 2020 would have been
Yes.
a good year is because you made so many deposits in
Yeah.
people over the year. And then over the years, and then of course, when it's time to like, okay, who's left standing? You've shown your fortitude because you've
Yeah.
made deposits and said, I'm here, I'm consistent. You can rely on me, right? And
Exactly.
you pour into people and then they pour back into you. So
And Michelle, do you know that? And I'm sure the same for you. I see some of the same people. I've been around in the business for 42 years, but I swear I see grandpas, parents, and children the same all around. And it's because we're in a referral based business.
yeah.
And if people feel that you did good, they're going to call you back. And
That's
I'm always looking for the next referral. The next referral, just like you.
Yeah, it's the same. It's a lot of the
Yeah,
same. Well, I just want to say, thank you for hosting this call today. I know we took a few more minutes because we had technical trouble getting on.
sure.
But this was so great, I think, as a reinforcement and for people to see a reinforcement of what is service and for people to
Mhm.
see what separates you from the crowd.
Michelle, thank you so much. I'm always honored. Whenever you call, I'm always there. I will stop the presses for Michelle Sayward. So proud of you, Michelle. So proud. Your team is doing so very well.
Well, thank you.
And Michelle, whenever you set goals, what do I always do? I always tip it a little bit higher. She's like, you're killing me. I'm like, we can do it. And you far exceed every time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on and taking time out of your day today. And I'll see you. I think we have a closing
I'll
tomorrow.
see you today. I'll be in your office today in a little bit. Yay.
All right. We'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye
Bye.
bye.